Is back in session, folks, but why are some students focused on harming each other instead of catching up on their lessons? Acting ACP Charmine Shand, Head of Community Safety and Security Branch at the JCF, joins us now to talk about this topic. Morning, ma'am. Welcome to Smile Jamaica. It's morning time. Hope you are well.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Well, I'm well in spite of the unfortunate circumstances, both at William Nib and at Papine High School.
Yeah.
But I am well, and we're trying to put things in place so that we can prevent some of these tragedies from occurring. But I am well.
Well, thank you very much. I also read that there was a youngster that went to Excelsior that was stabbed yesterday. Community Safety and Security Branch. Before we get specific, overall, what's the role of the Security Branch, Community Safety and Security Branch?
Okay, the Community Safety and Security Branch really is the unit it's a philosophy, organizational strategy that is really aimed at treating with issues of crime, community decay. What we try to do is to be proactive. It's policing in partnership with the public. And presently we are doing some engagement, community engagement. We're talking with our stakeholders. It's really to build relationship between the police and the citizens. So we have a number of programs, Neville. The Police Youth Club programs, the Neighborhood Watch programs. We have the Safe School program, we have Beach Watch. We have the domestic violence intervention. That all of those things are a part of the Community Safety and Security Branch. It's really that arm of the force that helps to build and bridge the gap between the police and the citizens.
Okay.
There's been a bit of talk about re-socializing. I've said it myself too, the students, because they've been out for so long. But what is your feeling on the ground? Is that what's causing this flare-up in the schools?
Yes, Delia. Schools has been held for 2 years due to COVID-19. What happened, and prior to school being opening full-time, we saw partial reopening of schools. And Delia, we have been engaging students prior to them returning to school. Yeah. So what we saw when we went into the community to engage is that students were exposed to violence. Mm-hmm. And we look at some of the spaces in the zones of special operations. And the last one we visited, Parade Gardens, to be exact, we had conversations with young persons in the space. And they were saying to us that they were concerned about the smaller or younger children. They were saying that these children are now so exposed. They were exposed to criminality. They were exposed to seeing murders occurring. They were exposed to gang violence. And because of that, it is necessary for us to do a reintegration in the school system. Because right now, our children were so exposed. Some of them were abused. I'm coming from Sissoko, Delia, and Neville, where we saw in the latter end of 2021, a lot of girls getting pregnant. A lot of children were abused, both physically, sexually. So it is necessary for us to work with our partners right now, Delia, to re-socialize these children and to reintegrate them into the school system.
ACP Shand, what is a gardring and what's the significance of it?
Well, I have been hearing about these so-called gardrings. And sometimes you wonder, and I will speak to the students first, if these students model the behavior of community or home. So what I know about these so-called gardrings is that we used to see them with either persons who are involved in criminality to say that they are preventing themselves from really either being apprehended by the police or for harm to be done to them by other criminals or for whoever they are in conflict with. So someone going to court, Neville and Delia, in my time as a young constable, when these clothes are taken for them to wear to court, the odor from it at the time was as if they were saying that they were well oiled up. And then you always find criminals wearing these rings for protection from either being apprehended or from being armed by their cronies or other persons. And that is what I know about or heard about gardrings. So gardrings were something that have been in existence for over a period of time. Surprisingly, though, we see students that are said to be wearing these rings. And if you looked at the William Nib exposure where the principal was saying that it has become so common in the high school that it is something for the police now to treat it and to educate these students, because they really are misguided and about supernatural powers, and we have lost our children when it comes down to the biblical teachings. So these are something that we are seeing, and it is something that we have taken a keen interest in as police officers.
What happens to a 16-year-old? I don't know if this young man will be charged for murder. I don't know. I'm not suggesting he should. But what happens to that 16-year-old? I said yesterday that we lost a life, but I think the young man who stabbed him, his life is also wrecked, also, isn't it? So what happens to that What happens to that young man?
Well, Neville, actually, he was charged for murder, and he will appear in court tomorrow. But what the community safety and security team did, we visited the family of both persons, the deceased and the accused. And we are still going to do intervention counseling with the young man as well that was involved. So we are not only treating with the deceased family, we made sure that we visited the family of the accused. I was told by my CSS officers that both mothers wanted to have a conversation, which is very good. So they understand that it is important that these students, they are children, both are 16-year-old. So they need intervention. The Victim Services Division is also counseling both families. So we did not leave the accused like that. We are making sure that this sort of intervention is done to make sure that, this does not happen. Okay. What was really alarming, though, is the morning after that incident, Superintendent Russell and the team went to the school, and Neville and Dela, you will be surprised how many weapons were found. So it is something that we have to educate, and they need to know that it is being armed with an offensive weapon. You can be charged, and you will be taken before the children's court or the family court if it comes to that, because we have to get rid of these weapons in schools.
Yeah. I mean, at the core of it, ACP, it sounds to me like if the guardian is supposed to protect you, they also feel the weapons will as well. And so,
that is so.
So it sounds to me as if there is some level of fear. They may seem defiant, but a little bit of fear in our children. And when we leave a gap, the school wasn't there to fill it, so they went to the gangs. What's going to happen? Or what is going to be the approach to rescue some of them from the gangs?
Well, okay, what we're doing in schools right now, we have a number of programs. So the Safe School program is one such program, along with the Ministry of Education and Youth. And we work with different partners. And what we want to do, first of all, is to educate parents. Because you would have read about a parent who said that her child is taking a weapon to school to defend himself, which is not the way to go. So what we are doing now, we're doing our mentorship program. We're educating parents. We started with parents, and we're working with the National Parenting Support Commission, because parents play a very important role. In my time and your time, perhaps, it was a village raising a child. Now, children are just left on their own.
Wow.
And sometimes they're unsupervised. So the gangs get an opportunity to infiltrate themselves with these children. So if you're coming from a community that is gang related, what we want to do is to tell you that there's a better way. We're taking children out of these activities. So we are telling them, no, we are providing them with mentorship. We're telling them that gang is a no-no, that is not a part of something for students. And what we want to do as best as possible, Delia, to eliminate gangs as well, because gangs are playing a role. Children are actually seeing guns. Children are seeing the activities of gangs on a daily basis in some community. And what they do is take it into schools, and gangs are telling them to recruit other students.
Yep.
And
ACB,
I spoke about the
ACB,
students.
we're running out of time.
Go ahead.
I have a final quick question, a double-barrel question. Will that young man be charged as an adult, and what kind of weapons did you find at the school? I kind of need a quick answer for this one. What kind of weapons did you find?
cannot say, Neville at the time, if he will be charged as an adult. I know that he was charged. He's 16 and most likely will be taken to the family court because that is where we deal with the matters for children. He's not yet an adult. The weapon was actually taken to the school. He placed the weapon
No. You said that we went to the school and you found weapons.
Confiscated at the
What we found were scissors, knives, ratchet knives, along with silver blades. There were a lot of knives and scissors. Those were the type of weapons. There was one small cutlass, and what we also found, Neville, was a lot of lighters. So it's obvious that there's also another aspect of it, substance abuse.
All right, thank you.
So those were the weapons.
Thank you so much.
Knives, scissors, and silver blades, and all different types and short cutlasses.
I don't envy you. You have such a tough job, but we need you, and we thank you for your service.
Thank you very much for having me.
We thank you for your service.
And we look forward for your support. And Jamaica, we also look forward for the support in protecting our children.
Stay safe, ma'am.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Acting ACP Charmine Shand, Head of Community Safety and Security Branch at the JCF. Amashiet?
Yeah.
Amashiet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whew. Up next, your views on the royal visit. What a segue. Soon come.